Last February, a jury acquitted me of a crime I did not commit. I was acquitted because I was innocent and also because I could afford great counsel. And that counsel was your very own Jerry Lefcourt, the president of the Foundation for Criminal Justice. I am so extraordinarily grateful to Jerry. And that was one of the really hardest things I've had to go through as an adult. I was not only facing a jury that I didn't know, a hostile judge, and a huge press corps, which was also hostile as well. The headline in the New York Post was Kennedy drug bust, so that just gives you a sense of what it was like. And throughout that 18-month ordeal, I was keenly aware of how incredibly blessed I was to have someone like Jerry as my lawyer, because I never had to second guess his thoughts, his commitment to the case, his legal capacity. And wow, what a difference that made. And I was also keenly aware of how blessed and how unusual this was, because for too many people in the situation like I was in, they don't have access to that kind of representation. And they don't really understand what rights they're giving up when they go for a plea or when they have poor representation in court and they end up with a criminal record. And that can really destroy their lives. It can make it impossible to get a job. It can make it difficult to get decent housing. It can mean that they don't have the right to vote. And that's what happens in America far too often. As your report, Collateral Damage, has found an incredible number of laws impose penalties on those with criminal records, meaning that years after their release, they are barred from voting or finding a job or accessing decent housing. And that's why what you do in this room is so incredibly important, because you are taking all of those years of law school and all of those years in the justice arena and putting it to use for people who really don't have a voice. And you become their only hope for protecting really the rest of their lives, and in many ways their children's lives and their children's children's lives. And for that, I want to thank you. And it's why I'm so proud of my father, Robert Kennedy, who 50 years ago saw this problem in America and sought to fix it through the Criminal Justice Act. That act guaranteed representation to defendants at every level of the federal system, regardless of income. And that legislation was a significant step in the long struggle to extend justice to Americans of all economic stations. But it was only the beginning. My father had no illusions about the challenges that remained. Speaking shortly after its passage, he said that the Criminal Justice Act cannot, even at its best, solve some of the other problems faced by the poor in our courts. 50 years later, there's still so much work to be done. Our bail system too often burdens poor defendants. In New York City alone, almost 50,000 people are jailed each year while they await trial because they cannot afford bail. Some of them remain in pretrial detention for an entire year because they can't afford it. Because of the Criminal Justice Act, federal courts today generally provide quality counsel, often from the people in this room. And many state courts do not afford that type of counsel. In fact, 95% of the nation's criminal cases do not give free counsel. These inequalities demand our attention. We are the United States of America. We can do better, and we must do better. And that's why we're all here tonight. In 1962, Robert Kennedy said that lawyers have their duties as citizens, but they also have special duties as lawyers. They have a continuing responsibility to uphold the fundamental principles of justice. That's what all of you gathered here tonight are trying to achieve. It is such important work, and I am very, very grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you.